What's up, everybody? This is Karak with ACG, and as always, you may know me from my award-winning books, such as, Just Put That Anywhere, A Guide to Mafia Body Disposal. But you know what? I also do game reviews, and as always, they aren't 2 minutes long or filled with sponsored bullcrap. Today's title is the digital driving simulator known as Dirt 4. The next in line for the Dirt name, let's see if Dirt 4 is Dirt Rally's Forza Horizon experience, like that title offered Forza Motorsport fans. Something within the same universe, but different enough for its own place. Or it's more like Dirt 3, a game that was more bro than a bro could bro if a bro could constantly bro. As always, if you like the video, maybe subscribe. So here's my review for Dirt 4. Travis Pastrana's return to Rally, buying stock in Dramamine, and wanting to shave off just 1 extra second. As always, graphics are up first. Now on the PC, with everything cranked and you towing into a turn at warp speed, the game throws an entire beach of sand, dirt, and debris behind you, and looks excellent that entire time. Multi-staged and multi-terrained events show an excellent handle on how to get the most from what you have when it comes to design, and it's fairly wide open, meaning that in some locations driving off the beaten path isn't instantly resulting in a reset of the car, which is both surprising and actually quite appreciated. Also, the sense of speed here is freakish at times. I mean, a couple times I was traveling so fast I really didn't even look for an upcoming corner or listen to my co-pilot wailing away about an abrupt something or other and cratered into the friggin' earth like I was trying to dig for salt. Really great stuff there. Sadly, sometimes success breeds expectations that can't or aren't always met, and that's the way Dirt 4 felt for me a lot of the time. There are times when it just looks excellent, with hoods flying off your cars as fall showers make it incredibly hard to see 5 feet in front of you, let alone the 40 or so feet that you probably need at this speed. But really, compared to Dirt Rally, some issues are instantly noticeable. Now, one of these is popping of vegetation and background objects, and it's present in all versions of the game, and is especially noticeable for some reason on the PC, with faraway shadows, debris, people, and trees drawing in far too close for comfort, like that world's god isn't paying attention and panics when you realize you just crested a hill and you're going to see how the world gets drawn, so he plops down about 400 poorly shaded shrubs. Also, the foliage itself doesn't look that good overall, and it's certainly not as good as Dirt Rally or some other titles that have come out even just recently, and while that's probably showing the strength of focus versus covering a wide variety of experiences like Rally compared to Dirt 4 itself, it's a bit noticeable. We also once again have the horribly archaic camera system for replays, and the one mode that mixes all of them together seems absolutely determined to not show the view you want whenever something cool happens. I just wish we had far more control in all of these games when it comes to cameras. Now, performance-wise, the game did incredibly well, handling 1440p on ultra settings, with frame rates never bottoming below 60 unless the option for advanced blending or high-level anti-aliasing was applied. Also, I'm not sure what advanced blending is, but apparently it's just slow motion, leaving your game with some locations dropping to half the frame rate, depending if it was on or off. The game has a tremendous number of graphical options on the PC and on medium and high settings, even on the older i7 920 and 970 NVIDIA, the low-profile testbed that I use. I was able to actually get it locked at 60, while the 5820 at 4.2 and the NVIDIA 1080, again, I could do the same, but at 1440p, and I would say 4K at 30 FPS is probably going to be in sight of many people out there if you want to experience it that way. But in my opinion, the game almost requires 60 frames per second. And that's sort of good, because the consoles also aim for that too, with the PS4 Pro getting a large number of effects and texture improvements over the other older generation consoles. I guess I'd say this. Overall, Dirt 4 offers a good breadth of gameplay environments and some excellent particle effects, and while it can look incredibly impressive here and there are times where I kept thinking to myself, this actually came after Dirt Rally? And of course, that brings us to sound, music, and voice.
And jump maybe, 60, 80 through dip, crest, and keep right over crest, 110 through dip, crest, dip, right 3 over crest, through gate, 80, 110 through dip, keep left over crest.
And as always, sound is up first in this category. Now, luckily, as with the titles prior to it, Dirt 4 has this covered, from the turbo whistle spool as you suck up an entire swimming pool worth of airspace into your engine, to the screeching crash as a brake finally succumbs to your horrible driving and literally falls off behind you, flashing its version of a middle finger as you pass by. It's excellent stuff, and every car from the lowest moped-inducted, training wheel-enhanced starting car to the engines with wheels just because we don't want people to be scared kind of cars later on. Everything has its place sonically, and each car has a different timbre to it. Excellent sound throughout on the vehicles. I will say that while the game gives a number of options for audio layering and mixing, and even a couple different setups for home theater and so forth, it really needed more presets, and it would have been nice to have had a pick that sounded good for various systems I tested this on versus changing settings for every single one of them from the overall same starting point. That's a small quibble, it's just a little bit noticeable. Overall, I would say, excellent sound. And of course, that brings us to music. Phenomenal. Man, this is good. Whomever decided to go this route deserves an award. While I wouldn't say it's exactly completely new, the huge focus on vocal tracks mixed with the typical electronic themes and the various subset menus gives Dirt 4 this almost classic feeling instantly, and it is phenomenal stuff in the replays, especially when a song hits just right with the action on the screen. Remember those times you always felt like you walked into a Xander Cage-owned nightclub while playing a racing game? Luckily, not here. Voice. It's actually pretty good. There's some excellent introductions to the various race types, and of course your co-drivers can be various different languages, which is actually very cool for some people who are coming from a different place than the typical English-only style of gameplay we've seen in the past. It's not a massive stable, but it's a large enough one that you can pick at least 2 or 3 options in the various languages. Overall, it's pretty good stuff, and they're fairly clear when you're driving at breakneck speed. Gameplay. Dirt 4 has you starting out a little bit different than past titles. You basically start out and pick your driving style, which can actually be changed anytime in the options. Racer or simulation, with Racer being more of an introduction to the Dirt series, and simulation more for those who have recently come away from Dirt Rally to see what Dirt 4 offers. But make no mistake, simulation mode is hardcore, but not as hardcore as Dirt Rally, and since this is a numbered Dirt title, that makes sense, but it's always good to be reminded of the aim here, which is basically a Forza Horizon and Forza Motorsport type of situation. And the game actually offers a great deal when you jump in. It has a number of modes or events, with career being the expected event-to-event series of races as you perform required numbers of races before jumping to the next level, with, of course, more cars and tracks always unlocking as you go forward. You also have competitive mode, which is a large series of constantly updated challenges and races that change daily or weekly. Now, strangely enough, multiplayer is separated. It has some player versus player options, so you can finally see if you or your friend is better behind the wheel of that Impreza. You also have free play, which is fantastic, and I'll talk about it in a bit, but that revolves around creating your own events and also sees the introduction of My Stage, which allows you to choose a variety of configurations, as well as the length of the race and its complexity, and then the game can randomly generate actual tracks for you. You also have Dirt Academy, which is a place to train and run through tutorials, and Joyride, which is a series of somewhat fun-styled mini-games that teach as you're crashing through barriers and jumping through cargo containers. Now, Career sets itself up with a mixture of light team creation design as well, like hiring engineers and such that affect how fast a car gets repaired, signing with sponsors, renting cars if you don't own them in your garage and can't buy them on the market, and actual driving itself, where you will find yourself pitted against other races in the typical time trials of Rally, all the way to Rallycross and the other offerings here. When it comes down to it, there's many different types of racing here, and you can certainly see the wider overall variety versus the narrower focus of Dirt Rally. Now, let's jump to free play for a second. This is amazing, with you basically choosing disciplines like Rally, Land Rush, Rallycross, and Historic Rallies. If you choose Rally itself, you can jump into events, and as I said before, you can create totally new ones. Now, procedural generation, I am sure to some is a dirty word, but that's sort of all in context, because checking the mail has a whole other connotation when you're walking past your neighbor's ground level apartment at 3 a.m. Here, it's handled terrifically well, and while after a very long time you can see some overall repetitiveness in the created tracks, they will show up. The most important part is that between your starting time and when you actually notice them, you've raced hundreds of different iterations, and it's certainly no different than, let's say, a Dirt Rally would be. Dirt games have never been about thousands of tracks anyway, so to me, it's actually an intelligent design idea, and it really works tremendously well. If you jump into the other event types, you can't unfortunately generate tracks, but you can adjust different racing conditions. Let's talk a little bit about difficulty, because you guys know I tested on all levels, starting out at a toddler level with all the safety options turned on, like one of those kids with a plastic Barbie Corvette that can tear ass around your living room in, all hopped up like Fred Flintstone, and then turning the difficulty up higher and higher, going from racer to full simulation systems with no HUD elements showing. Now, you guys know me, I love difficult games. I just want it so that when I play, it raises the testosterone level in nearby newborns by like 60%. I mean it. I want spontaneous baby beard growth like a damn bunch of cooing chia pets. The moment I was able to turn everything up to its highest level here, because you do unlock some stuff, it actually was quite difficult. But that also means that This is easily one of the most accessible racing games there is. Easy is just that, with some adjustments and setups for a person just figuring out that breaking most rules of the road is how you basically win in dirt games. While having no safety net, running all the simulation settings on is not only a test against gravity inertia and your own body's ability to see what it's like to travel at light speed, but it's also the fact that everything is tracked in Dirt 4 on the leaderboards, meaning others choosing those races and difficulties are consistently testing you and pushing you as well. Then you have the hardest difficulty available, which comes close to Dirt Rally settings, as I said before, but it is a bit off. Dirt Rally will be considered by many to be the harder game, and that's fine. This is a great setup, though, for a numbered Dirt title. Also, I'm happy to report when it comes to control, the game works fine with a controller, but it's pure bliss with the steering wheel and force feedback work really well. Sadly, the game is not without some hangups. First, it crashed a number of times, and mostly when I was just adjusting the resolution, because all the other settings could be changed without a problem, but adjusting the resolution on this game, even fully patched up for release, occasionally resulted in a game that just refused to do anything from that point on, and this was tested and noticed on all 3 testing systems. Second, while I adore the free play, I really did, and I loved creating events, both a mixture of normal courses as well as my own, I did feel, especially later on, that it was a little bit more basic than maybe I had hoped for. Fun factor. You know, here you have, to me at least, a compliment to Rally, offering a true companion title. This is Forza Horizon to Forza Motorsport, and it's a fascinating idea, and I actually like to see companies do this. Dirt 4 offers a long career, a large number of things to do, and the ability to generate your own tracks, meaning that since no 2 tracks will be alike, you'll consistently have some kind of feeling of freshness in that mode in particular. Now, while I loved Rally and understanding every right for and over crest in that game, it's just overall a different beast, but still a good one. You know, Cole Trickle once said, "There's nothing I can't do in a race car." Dirt Rally, and now to me, Rally 4, both offer that feeling. So as you guys know, I rate games on a buy, wait for sale, rent, or never touch it again rating scale. This is absolutely a buy. Listen, it's not a perfect game, not at all, but it is a good game that offers a ton of content for what I consider to be a totally fair price. Is it Dirt Rally 2? No, but it's also not called Dirt Rally 2. It is, in every way, shape, or form, exactly like we have seen other companies do, where they have, once again, the same example of a Forza Horizon and a Forza Motorsport. And I like that. I like that idea. It doesn't stop one from being enjoyable, but it does allow you to do something different in a totally different title. So anyway, that's it for me. I hope you guys liked the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Maybe check out Twitter or Patreon. That's how I continue to give you guys reviews. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Peace out, and enjoy the rest of your week.
I'll be there, monster, you'll be one day.
3 long opens.